Welcome to Chapter 3. This chapter is one I find particularly compelling because it gets to the heart of what separates entrepreneurial thinking from conventional thinking. Today we cover 5 interconnected topics: how to define your business with precision, the difference between entrepreneurial and managerial logic, how to build your organization's mission, vision, and core values, how to identify and sustain your competitive advantage, and how to use the economics of one unit to test financial viability before you launch. Let us start with the most basic question in all of business. Every business can be defined by 3 elements: the offer, the target market, and the production and delivery capability. The offer answers, what will you sell? This includes the complete bundle of products and services you bring to the market. The target market answers, who are you selling to? Which specific segment of customers are you trying to serve? And production and delivery capability answers, how will you actually get your offer into the hands of your target customers? Getting this 3-part definition right is harder than it sounds. Many businesses fail, not because the product was bad, but because the founder was unclear about exactly who the business was for and how it would actually operate at scale. Clarity here is not just helpful, it is essential. Every subsequent decision, marketing, pricing, hiring, financing, flows from this definition. If the foundation is vague, everything built on it will be unstable. Here is where entrepreneurship research becomes genuinely fascinating. Dr. Sarasvati of the University of Virginia studied expert entrepreneurs and discovered that they think fundamentally differently from professional managers. Managers use causal logic. They start with a clearly defined goal and then work backwards to plan the steps required to achieve it in a linear, structured fashion. Goal first, plan second, execute third. Entrepreneurs use effectual logic. They start not with a fixed goal, but with what they already have: their skills, their networks, their available resources, and they build toward an opportunity that emerges through action. They do not predict the future, they construct it. Sarasvati identified 5 principles of effectual logic. The bird in hand principle: start with your means, not an idealized goal. The affordable loss principle: invest only what you can afford to lose. The lemonade principle: when unexpected setbacks occur, treat them as new opportunities rather than failures. The crazy quilt principle: collaborate and co-create with partners rather than competing alone. And the pilot in the plane principle: the future is not something you predict, it is something you actively make. Neither approach is universally superior, but in conditions of high uncertainty, which is exactly the environment startups operate in, effectual logic gives entrepreneurs a critical adaptive advantage. Every organization has the opportunity and the responsibility to build a unique identity through its core values, mission, and vision. Core values are the fundamental ethical and moral beliefs that form the foundation of the organization and guide every decision made within it. They are not a marketing statement. They are the genuine principles that determine how the organization behaves when no one is watching. The mission statement communicates what the business is doing right now to serve its customers and compete in the market. A good mission statement is concise, ideally 21 to 40 words, and focuses on purpose and competitive advantage simultaneously. Consider Google's mission: to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. 7 words that define the offer, the target market, and the value proposition simultaneously. The vision statement is broader and more future-facing. It paints a picture of where the organization aspires to go, what it wants to become, not just what it currently is. A powerful vision statement energizes people. It gives employees, customers, and partners a reason to care beyond the daily transaction. Culture is where values, mission, and vision become real. Culture is composed of the beliefs, values, and behavioral norms that actually shape how people in the organization work every day. It is built by leaders, reinforced by decisions, and ultimately determines whether strategy succeeds or fails. For your business to succeed over time, you need a competitive advantage, something that sets you apart from competitors in a way that genuinely matters to customers. And critically, that advantage must be sustainable. A competitive advantage that can be copied in 6 months provides no real protection. There are 6 factors of competitive advantage: quality, price, location, selection, service, and speed of delivery or turnaround. Think about how Bill Gates built Microsoft. He did not invent software, but he recognized that people were deeply frustrated and intimidated by the software that existed. He created user-friendly operating systems that consumers wanted, packaged with readable documentation. That customer empathy, that ability to see what people needed and could not articulate, was his competitive advantage. Your unique selling proposition, or USP, is the specific, distinctive reason a customer should choose your business over every other available option. If you cannot state your USP clearly in 1 or 2 sentences, you need to keep refining it. Vagueness is not a competitive advantage, precision is. When assessing your competitive advantage honestly, ask 3 questions. How does your offer compare with those of your leading competitors? What specific features and benefits set you apart? And what is different about your cost structure? Are you at a cost advantage or disadvantage relative to the competition? The economics of one unit, or EOU, is one of the most powerful and underused tools in early-stage entrepreneurship. It answers the question, is this business idea financially viable at the unit level? The formula is straightforward. Selling price per unit minus cost of goods. Sold per unit equals gross profit per unit. The unit of sale varies by business type. For a retail business, it might be 1 item. For a service business, it might be 1 hour of service. For a wholesale business, it might be 1 dozen units. For a combination business, it is the average revenue and cost per customer transaction. Here's a concrete example. If you sell a pair of sneakers at retail for $60 and your cost of goods sold, the materials and direct labor that went into producing that pair, is $20, your gross profit per unit is $40. That $40 per unit must eventually cover all of your fixed operating costs, rent, utilities, salaries, marketing, and still leave a profit. Here is the critical insight. If the economics do not work at the unit level, they will never work at scale. Selling more of a money-losing product does not fix the problem, it accelerates it. The EOU is your litmus test. Run it before you invest in the business, not after. In Chapter 3, we covered how to define your business with precision, the fascinating distinction between effectual and causal logic, how mission, vision, and values shape organizational culture, the 6 factors of competitive advantage, and how to identify your USP, and the economics of one unit as a financial viability test. Complete your Chapter 3 assignment in Canvas. In Chapter 4, we take your business out into the marketplace, exploring your market through research, segmentation, positioning, and the product life cycle. See you in the next video.